Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have the absolute pleasure of welcoming someone who I would describe as an ultimate entrepreneur, someone who's doing very well in all different areas. But the key thing about being an entrepreneur is you have to stay upbeat. There's a lot of mindset behind what we do, and we're going to tap into that today to basically how do you stay focused on your journey. So do not go anywhere, let's get into it. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have the pleasure of welcoming Sunny Mahal, but before we do, I'd like to also say a big thank you for today's sponsor, and that is Casita Properties, the leading UK property company when it comes to discreet off-market buy-to-let sales. All of their links will be in the description below. Sunny Mahal, it's a pleasure to have you on my channel, mate. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, well, absolute pleasure. Sunny, for those of you, those that are watching, get my words out, if you could give that 30,000 view of who you are and what you do, my friend.
Yep, so I'm Sunny Mahal, aka Mr. Sunshine. I am a life coach, mindset coach, business coach. Been in entrepreneurship for around 15 years now. And yeah, like I say, just to make the world a better place, help people achieve their true potential.
Awesome. Well, I know you're all in, you've got different business models. You're very active on social media. And one key thing is why I wanted to get you on the channel is your energy. You've got great energy. And if you haven't yet checked out Sunny, go onto his Instagram, follow him and check out his stories, and they'll motivate you in the morning. They'll keep you going. And that's something that's really important in a busy world where there's a lot of noise.
Yep.
And that's something I want to start with is how do we focus as entrepreneurs where there are so many distractions through so many avenues? How is your mindset fixed?
For me, again, it all comes down to like with the mindset side of things. Like I know you said like how is your mindset fixed? If you look at like for us, like growing up through school, college, uni, work, all that kind of stuff, we're programmed to do one type of thing, which is a fixed activity. Okay, you get educated, you go get a job, you do this, you do that, and it's all that kind of stuff. And then people like they're into their jobs and they're just like, okay, you know what, I hate my job, I don't like this, I don't like that. Ooh, there's somebody doing entrepreneurship. Oh, they got their own business. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. But they still have that fixed mindset. It looks amazing, but then they don't know how to get there. You know, like we were speaking earlier on as well, like the whole thing, like when people do become entrepreneurs, they become entrepreneurs coming typically from working for somebody else. So they've got that employee mindset as opposed to firefighting like we do all the time. You know, like even when it's entrepreneurship, it's never people say, oh, you must have the perfect life, the perfect work-life balance. There's no such thing, you know, but it all comes down to your mindset. And that's why I'm always online inspiring and motivating people, because it's not necessarily, you can always go off and learn how to make money. You know, making money isn't that difficult, but then the mindset, there's no instructional manual for our mindset of how to be in challenging situations, how to manage stress, anxiety, fear of failure, self-doubt, all that kind of stuff. And that is, me personally, I believe that that's the key thing that will shift any person to be successful in any area of their life.
Yeah, I mean, very key points, but I suppose really a lot of battles for a lot of people now is one, where to start when there's so many options on what do you do as an entrepreneur. The life looks great, like, you know, externally it looks great, but like you say, what happens behind closed doors, there's a lot of spinning of plates. So for those that are watching thinking, you know, I'd love to be an entrepreneur, I want to do my own thing, you know, there is so much to it. Kind of what is that in your eyes, that step-by-step process of understanding, okay, one, you have got that fire in your belly, you could be an entrepreneur, but how do you go through that step-by-step process in order to work out what you want to do and then really attack it?
Yeah, no, 100%. That's a good question. So for me, first off, I would say most people, they want to become an entrepreneur because they're unhappy with working for somebody else. So if you are unhappy doing what you're doing, and do you see yourself in the next 10, 20, 30 years doing that and being happy and content with life? If you are, then awesome. Because there's some people who are really good in their profession. They see people living the lifestyle. They think it's appealing, but they're still satisfied with what they're doing. So they don't necessarily want to do the career change. They just want to have the lifestyle. But then on the flip side, the people that say, okay, you know what, I hate my job, I want to become an entrepreneur and all this kind of stuff. First off, understand what's the reasoning behind it. You know, and I would say even forget the first off reasoning. The first thing is you better be prepared for more failures than successes, because that's how it goes, plain and simple. And then it's really about seeing, okay, what are the options out there? You know, like when we were younger, we didn't have mobile phones where we could be like, ooh, I could literally start a business by the end of today, or I could research everything I want to on a certain field. But I would say just spend time researching different things and then just see what resonates with you as well, you know, because you have to ultimately enjoy what you're doing as well. Like you've got like property, you've got Forex, you've got e-commerce, you've got drop shipping, you've got building a brand, you've got building social media presence, so many different things. And if you are serious about going from working for somebody else to working for yourself, then discipline yourself that in that time frame, let's say for argument's sake, I don't know, the next 4 to 8 weeks, you're going to spend time researching every single day, even if it's half an hour, 20 minutes, right? Researching the different types of opportunities that are out there, and whatever appeals to you, then try and go down that route and then learn a little bit more, you know, because you might think, oh, from, like you said, from the outside, it looks all wicked. But then you go and you learn a bit and you're like, ooh, that's a bit difficult, or it looks good, I can make money, but it doesn't give me the lifestyle that I want, you know? So then really start to not manipulate, but try and just like tweak certain things. So when you end up doing something, it's not, oh my God, this is just like my 9 to 5. I'm working all the hours under the sun. I'm getting paid, but I still have no life. You know, so it's just really about doing that. And then also I would say find other people who are doing what you're already doing.
Yeah.
And it's not difficult. I know some people say, oh, my network's crap, I don't have people in my network, but jump on a phone, social media. People are out there. Follow people on YouTube, watch videos, follow this podcast, you know, hear real life stories and everything. And from there, you'll actually understand that, I resonate with this person on a little bit of a level, or I get that, hey, their story is similar to mine, that they were unhappy at one point and then they did X, Y, and Z. Let me try that out there. You know, because whenever you want to go from working for somebody else to being an entrepreneur, it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
It literally isn't. It's just about finding someone who's already done what you're looking to do and then just start modeling, learning certain things and stuff. But again, it comes down to like, if you can't be disciplined enough to learn about or discover the different opportunities out there, if you're not disciplined in that, then don't expect to get the results that you want by just thinking, ooh, like let's take Forex, for example, right? You say, oh, I learned a bit of Forex, my life's going to change now. It's not. It all is about taking it step by step and being disciplined. You know, not everyone's ready to take that instant action, but when you implement learning and surrounding yourself in the right environment, then it starts to become a bit easier.
So this is what separates people. You've hit some really good points. Let's dissect it. Actually, is discipline being absolutely key. Like, it's, you know, so important that you're disciplined. Even from, you know, like yourself. When I see your stories, you know, you're up, you've been in the gym. Just having a structure and also writing things down. I think, you know, when you can get in the habit of writing your tasks, goals down, rather than storing it all in your head, and having a structure that you follow allows you to start planning effectively, because time leverage, of course, is really important. And, you know, from following you, I can see that, you know, consistency, you do your videos in the car, you're at the gym. So there is a pattern there and there is a good habit set in place. So for anyone watching is you need to develop discipline, like you said, really good habits. You just said it there. You know, if you're not surrounded by the right people at the moment, then get amongst them, social media, go to networking events. And that's really, really important. So what would you say for those that are on the fence in sort of trying to start something, but they're a little bit hesitant because life looks so perfect on social media? We are unfortunately in a day and age where you look at it and it looks great. And that puts people off actually ever pulling the trigger. So what would you say to those people that are really close to starting it, but they're thinking, well, I've got FOMO or imposter syndrome? What would you say to those people?
So with that, it's like, yes, it's all good and well, like looking at people and saying, oh, they've got the lifestyle and this, that, the other, but understand they didn't get to that just overnight. You know, so for you, it's just about taking it step by step, and really working on your mindset first and foremost, rather than just thinking, okay, what's the strategy? But then at the same time, people, they say they want to do something, but then they don't actually take that action. And I always say to people, look, simply put, nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you completely keep doing the same shit every single day, you're not going to get the result that you want. So look at your life and saying, okay, am I doing the certain activities which are going to get me to where I'm going to get to? Just a little bit, you know? But then also, like, people say, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Well, what is an entrepreneur? I personally think an entrepreneur is somebody who not just wants more from their, like, bank balance and their financial life, but overall, holistically, right? Like, are you developing your mindset? Are you bettering your relationships? Are you looking after your health and fitness? Are you looking to better your bank balance? And are you looking to make a difference for other people? You know, because when you can help enough people achieve what they want, you'll always get what you want. You know, and an entrepreneur is not someone who's just money driven, but they're life driven as well. And then when you focus on those elements, then that really sort of grounds you as well. Like we were saying earlier on, it's about being humble no matter how much you make. Like, you might see people with the lifestyle out there and everything, but it really comes down to, okay, what is your next step as well? You know, because, you know, with the FOMO and the imposter syndrome, they're, let's say, for example, just about to leave their job and say, right, you know what, I'm going to start, I don't know, an e-commerce business, let's start, say, for example, and they see people online with their Shopify account with like 6 figures we did this week, and we had £1 million day and all that kind of stuff. I get that. If somebody else has done it, first thing is, for confidence, if somebody else has done it, why can't you do it? Yeah. They follow the system, they did something to get there. But then also that, let's say for argument's sake, that £100,000 month they've had that they're showing, or they're living in like, I don't know, they're on Dubai and they're spending loads of money and stuff. That's not your next goal. Your next goal is just to learn and implement and start where you are.
Yeah.
Because when you start doing that, all of that will come. But everybody wants that now. You know, they want that Amazon lifestyle. Click. Oh, it should have happened by now.
Yeah.
But it's literally just like, don't compare yourself to where they are, because they may be a month, a year, 10 years ahead of you. But where you are now, they were there at one point in time. So just do the next steps that are going to help you to get there, which is, like we said, your circle, your knowledge, disciplining your time, but then also like looking after your health as well.
Yeah,
you know, because if
so important.
If you don't look after your health, I did it for years. I was in business, making good money, but I ended up being obese, size 42-inch waist, 18.5 stone, depressed, anxious, all that kind of stuff. And it was like, hold on, man, I'm making money. Why am I not happy? You know?
Yeah.
But then it was like, hey, what about the vehicle? The vehicle's knackered. So let's focus on that. And then you flip side that, and then everything starts changing.
Whereas the MOT, yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because like you said, everything's so instant. That's something that, you know, I cover off a lot, is that everything seems to be a click of a button, that you want it now. And I would definitely say off the back of that is limit what you consume, what you see, and stay focused. And I use this good example, is there's someone I'd love to get on my channel, is that they want to come on the channel, but they keep saying to me, I'm not ready right now because I'm focused. I'm too in the zone of my business at the moment.
Yeah.
And when I'm set up with my business, I mean, their business is already set up. It's doing very well, but they're really grafting. And I really respect that. It's not right now, but let's do it in the future. So it just goes to show that if you're serious about a business and you really want it to work, is that you will step away and just really hustle at it. Yeah. Which leads me on to my next question. Property has a lot of marketing in terms of social media, what's on YouTube, ads, pop-ups. So a lot of people always think default property is the way to leave your 9 to 5 and become financially free, which is a very loose term anyway, financially free. What are your thoughts on someone trying to leave the 9 to 5? Is it a case of you balance the side hustle during the 9 to 5, sustain that until the business is up and running? Is property the right way to go, or is building a business that you're passionate about? What are your thoughts on that?
I'd say, again, it comes down to what appeals to you. Because some people, they want to get into property, they want to, like you say, they want to leave their career and everything. And I say, look, if you're working professionally, don't come with the mindset that I want to get into property to quit my job, because you're actually, you've got like an away from goal, right? You're trying to run away from something, and that will always pull you back. Whereas when you say, okay, you know what, I'm still blessed to have my job because it keeps a roof over my head, food on the table, all that kind of stuff, that when I focus on this element of being grateful for all the stuff I have, then the property side is going to grow much quicker, or the business side, right? So that's the first thing, change that mindset. Then it really comes down to saying, okay, with property, most people want to be like, you ask anybody that question, just like, well, not anybody, but typically, how much money do you want to make from property? 10 grand a month.
Yeah.
What the F do you need 10 grand? You don't make 10 grand a month now, bro. Like, you need to take your time with it. Like, what's your next target? How much do you get paid in your career? 2 grand a month. Cool. That's your next goal. If that can come through property, you don't need many properties. You don't need a portfolio of 100 houses, because that shit will take ages, right? But if that's your next goal and you are passionate about property, and even when I speak to people, when they say, Sonny, can you teach me how to do it? I'm like, why do you want to do it? And they're like, we've been thinking about it for years, and it's something I've always overcomplicated. I want to do it and stuff. Or there's somebody who'd be like, I saw one of my mates do it on YouTube or TV, so I want to do it. I'm like, yeah, this isn't for you, right? So understand why you want to do it. Then when you've got that going on there, then you can actually say, right, I'm going to get into property. Okay, if it's 2 grand a month, I probably need 3-4 houses. You might even just need 2 if you buy a house and chop it into a block of apartments. You've got 2 of those, bang, 15,000, 30,000 pounds a year, however much you're making. Cool, that's there. Now ask yourself, do I want to continue that, or do I want to do business? You know, do I want to set up a business? Because most people, they don't have that, I don't want to say flair, but just that creativity of like, I want to have my own business, like e-commerce or clothing brand or whatever it is, or coaching brand and stuff like that. So that's not for everyone, but they see like bricks and mortar, and like, you know, typically houses, the wealthiest people invest in buildings, right? But if property is not for you and you think, okay, I want to start my own business, that's okay as well. You know, for me personally, when I started in retail business first. but it was still running a business. It was hard work. You put the hours in, but I would say whatever you do, you can still start a property business and replace your income and then go to another level. Or if you say, right, Sonny, you know what? I want $2,000 a month, but I don't want to have a portfolio. Okay, cool. Buy one flip and make 25,000 pounds a year. You didn't get paid monthly, but you got paid on the back end. That's still your money there, you know? So just see which one works for you. But again, I wish it was that easy where you can say to somebody, I want to leave my job. Okay, do property, do business, do e-commerce, do Forex, do this, do that, investing and stuff like that. But it really comes down to the more you're exposed. So if you've got somebody sat there saying, I'm thinking about doing property, but I also do like the idea of having an online business. I want the laptop lifestyle. I don't want to go and find builders. I don't want to get mortgages and stuff like that. Cool. Research both of them. See what appeals to you and then try a little bit. You know, I've seen people who say they want to get into property. They learn, they implement, but then they're like, I actually am not that passionate about this.
Yeah.
I'm really passionate about this. Oh, but now I feel like an arsed for actually doing this and now coming over here. I'm like, so what? If you've realized that that's not for you, then do what you feel that is for you.
I think that is the case. Like I feel people who are exposed to a lot of media through property, the marketing that's pumped behind it is that they feel that that's the default and they don't really have the passion for it. And also, I would say that you have to take your personal circumstances into it, because, in my opinion, to get into property, you do have to have capital behind you. I stick by that, and I think people don't really evaluate their personal situation to say, one, am I really passionate about it? Two, have we got the capital to start? And three, will I see it through the hard times? And then like you say, I think a lot of people start property, they try these different strategies and then they go, actually, I'm not really enjoying it. Whereas if they had started an online business, a side hustle, selling products that they enjoy, or, buying low and selling high, then they find their passion for it. But you have to go through that like tick box, don't you?
Yeah.
And do you think it also is it a case of you've got to try things, but just limit your time, money that you put into it before you know when you need to move on?
Yeah, and that's where some people get, and I totally agree with that, but some people are just like, oh, but now I'm a failure. I quit. I can't quit now. I've done this. But it's like, what's the reasoning behind thinking, okay, I gave this some time. I learned, I implemented. Wasn't really for me. Okay, cool. Well, what is? It's okay to try something. Like me and Paul having a conversation earlier on. It's just like, look, you start businesses, but they don't necessarily always work out. You try something, okay, it didn't work, cool. How can we pivot? How can we do this? There's never, it's like people are so afraid of failing, but there's no such thing as failure. It's just an outcome. It might be the outcome you didn't want, but it's still an outcome you can learn from. And then from there, then you start changing certain things and you're like, okay, I was passionate about this. Not now, I can focus on this here. But even with everything, regardless, I always say to people, look, how do things happen in life? How was this mic created? How was your phone created? How was this table? And so on. It all starts from somebody's thought. And if you're not in control of your thoughts and you're stressed and anxious and worried and depressed all the time, what kind of thoughts are you going to have? When you have a thought, you feel something. When you have a feeling, if it's a good feeling, you're going to act on something. When you act on something, you'll have an outcome.
Yeah.
And most people are like, I want the outcome. And then when you say, well, it is kind of a mindset, and they're just like, no, shut up, man. That's just voodoo stuff. It's not about your mindset. But if you think about it, it's thought, feel, act, achieve, do, have, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And when you actually reverse engineer it, you're like, it's just a way of thinking. The only difference between us two is a way of thinking. That's it. And we do certain things in a different way, but then comes back to you saying if you have a structure and a routine and a discipline without even commencing your business, you just got a discipline on learning about property or this, that, the other, then that's going to help you. But then also, even if you are learning from someone like a coach or a mentor, only work with them if you actually get on with them as well.
Yeah.
And there has to be that connection of just like an energy of like, okay, cool. It's not just like who sells you the biggest bloody shiny penny thing.
Yeah.
I could change my life in 30 minutes. Like, no.
Yeah, you have to be realistic. I mean, anyone that turns around and says you can change your life in 6 to 12 months, I think is a bit far-fetched to think that you can do that when most business people who have been successful have taken 10 to 20 to 30 years to really turn around and be like, we've done all right. And that's so to say you can do it in 6 to 12 months, I would just say for anyone watching is you really need to be cautious of those time frames, because I also find that when you put time frames on things, you can be disappointed, and that can have knock-on effects if you're not strong in mind. So you do really have to sort of take that with a pinch of salt, these time frames. So let's touch on the network, because this is a huge part, right? You can have the mindset, but if you're lonely and you're surrounded by people who don't have the same mindset or would want better from life, You can be the strongest in the room, mindset can be great, structure can be great, but if you keep falling back to those 4, 5, 6, up to 10 people who are just moaning, negative, gossiping, it will wipe you. So how does someone part away from those that are negative and start being around right people?
So with that, I would say, first off, majority of the time it's friends or family. I'm saying it. People don't like to admit it. It is either friends or family where you say, yo, Aaron, if you're, let's say, for example, you're my brother. I'm like, Aaron, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you're like, nah, ain't going to work out. Nah, you're shit. You're not good enough. This, that, the other. I'm like, oh, man, I'm so excited. But they pulled me down. Okay, cool. That's normally family. But they'll come from it in two senses. Number one, people will say things to you to discourage you, just to protect you, because it's an actual reflection of themselves that, hey, I wouldn't have the risk or the balls to do that. I wouldn't want you to do it and make a mistake.
100%.
Or number two, it's somebody that's just jealous and they just don't want you outgrowing them. Those type of people you don't need to be around. So first is about framing the responses you get from people and trying to understand what their model of the world is, respect their model of the world, and then understand where they're coming from. Because most of the time people are coming from a good place, we just don't see it. Then if you do have people around you who literally do bring you down and don't support you and stuff, it's not about get rid of them, like kick them to the curb, but just choose to consciously spend less time with those people. But then saying, okay, if that's not the person I want to spend time with, let me describe the opposite of that. What type of people do I want to be around? Are they positive? Do they have the energy? And even when I work with people, I would say to them, look, what made you want to have me as a coach or a mentor? They're like, your energy is fucking nuts. And I'm like, well, that's just me. Like, you put the right energy out, the right frequency, you attract the right people. Just as negative energy is contagious, so is positive energy. Like, you try and be around me and try and have an upset face. It ain't happening, okay? You're smiling, you're enjoying life, because we're only on here once.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to like changing that network, if you can't physically get out and be around those people, then like we said before, use social media, but then also talk. You know, sometimes people are so afraid of like talking to somebody they've never met, they don't know. And even on social media, send somebody that inspires you a message just by saying, yo, thanks for everything you're doing. It's really inspired me. I'm in a bit of a dark place or a bit of a difficult place, but what you're doing has really helped. The minute that person, which they should, responds to you saying, thank you so much for the kind words, and just even if they put a little comment of like, you're an amazing person, you're going to nail it moving forward, just keep believing in yourself, that just gives you that little bit of hope. You know, even when people message me, they're like, your DMs must be crazy. I'm like, they are, but I always make time to go back and message someone, because majority of the people that respond online, they are people that I don't even know. They're just like, I really need to hear that today. You know, because we don't know what dark times people are going through. I've gone through, like I said, anxiety, stress, depression, not wanting to do anything and stuff like that. Whereas like when you can feel people going through that, there are people online doing that, you know. But then also, like, if you don't want to do online and you're a bit afraid of social media, you don't have a profile or presence, then just search local meetup groups. You know, there's loads of groups that are literally even free. They just turn up and you're just having a conversation with someone to be like, okay, cool. Because the thing is, like, when we're in a negative environment, most people are just like, that's my reality.
Yeah.
Change the language you use. This is my reality. I'm in a negative environment. I don't have people that support me. What do I need to do in order to change that? Literally by asking the right kind of question will give you a mind of like, okay, I need to actually focus on this because a door's just opened. Okay, I can go out, I can go speak to people and stuff like that. And when you do go networking, don't just have the mindset of I'm going to go there and everyone's going to come and talk to me. That ain't happening. Go in there with the mindset, I'm just going to go and speak to one person. That's it. Because even for me, I went on my first networking event and I was shy as shit. Honestly, I was just like sat there, I was like, oh man. And I went there and I came back and my wife was like, how was it? I was like, it's terrible, man. No one spoke to me. She's like, why? I stood there in the corner and no one came up to me. I was on my phone like I had stuff to do, but there was nothing on there. Yeah. And I was just like, I thought people would approach me. She goes, no, you idiot. Go and speak to people. I have that one thing. I'm just going to say hi, shake someone's hand, see where that conversation leads to. And then when people say, oh yeah, but it's all right for you, Sonny, you're good at speaking and stuff. Whenever you meet someone, shake their hand. Hi, I'm Sonny. You're Aaron. Aaron, what do you do? Always ask them, what do you do? Because everybody loves talking about themselves.
Open conversation.
That starts it off rather than like, what do I say? Just say, how are you? Who are you? What do you do? It's a simple thing. You know, you just do that one thing and that will literally, like they say, your network is your net worth. You get introduced to people. You have that confidence. So, hey, you know what? At home or in my workspace and that, people don't really support me and pull me down. But at least I did this one thing. You know, like life is, wherever you're going to be in 10 years really depends on that one thing you do every single day. Even if you've got full-time business or profession, you've got kids, you've got responsibility. If you change nothing, it'll be the same thing in the future. Just do one little thing. because when you do one thing, that starts to grow and grow and grow, and then you start growing a team, you get bigger and stuff, and you never know where it leads to. You know, have you ever had that conversation with one person? You're like, bloody hell, I spoke to that person like 2 years ago, and off the back of just that one conversation,
Yeah.
I've like ended up somewhere else. How did
Yeah.
that happen? It was just that one thing.
All the time. That's one thing where I think a lot of people differ, is some people want it going back to the instant. They want it now, whereas so many people that I've met through networking or however I've met them, introductions, that it weren't right for us to work at that time. But then 6 months later, 18 months later, they've come back in, and then they've played that part to why we must have met in the first place. So there are huge points. And also, being in a room where you're uncomfortable is actually where you'll end up growing. You become more confident. And look, there's books on public speaking, networking. You can learn everything. So as we sort of come to a finish, what would be your top tips for someone to utilize the power of social media? There's a lot of negatives. Be a creator more than a consumer. But what would be your top tips for someone really wanting to take, let's say, I know we're obviously well into 2022 now, but you know, if they want to finish this year up on a real high and use the power of social media, what would your tips be?
As in to grow their own brand, or
To
just
grow
to
their own
network?
brand, to become a really good entrepreneur and start a business, whatever it might be.
First off, just provide value. That's all you can do. Don't go out there to sell. Don't go to, hey, you should buy my product, or I've got this cup and everything, and you should buy this cup, or this hairbrush is the best thing. No, just go out there and put value out to people, because that's literally like you're literally just building up brand awareness in that side of things. That if you post one post and you're like, oh yeah, oh, it didn't work, this didn't happen, that didn't happen, you see other people who influence you. They're posting all the time. So model what other people are doing. But then really don't be afraid to be yourself as well. Like that's where people are like, what type of person do I have to be on social media? That's it. Just be your friggin' self. If you love, like for me in the mornings when I'm up, I'm like, when I first started out, I kid you not, I was doing my Instagram video, and I was like, hi guys, my name's Sunny, and yes, you should believe in yourself. I was like, fucking hell, what the hell was that, man? It's like someone had a gun to my head. But it's literally, I was just like, stop trying to be other people and just be yourself. Now in the mornings, I'm playing music, I'm dancing. If I screw it up, it'd be like, oh, sorry. And then I'll just say the whole thing, because no one's perfect. And that's another thing. People think you have to be perfect online. Literally, when I do my stories, sometimes it takes me 4 or 5 takes to actually get it done. And people are like, you're an amazing speaker. I'm like, I'm not. I just keep trying.
It's practice.
You know? So with that, again, be consistent. If you're not clear on like what type of content to post and stuff like that, or what type of feed to have and everything, just model the people that are in like the top 10 inspiration to you. Go and have a look how they do their stuff, and you'll just naturally start to see things saying, okay, cool, you know what, I'd feel comfortable doing this, I'd feel comfortable doing that. But also don't create an online following just for the validation of getting likes and follows and shit like that. It's not, you know, everybody starts with 1 like and 1 follower. Whereas that people are like, oh, I've got a new account, I can't post anything. Oh my God, people are going to... It's like, forget that. It's not. Because if you break down the whole analytics of social media, I don't look at how many likes I get. I look at all the analytics. How many people did this get in front of? Where did the reach go? Okay, the content was good. Because how many times do we see stuff online? We scroll through, that was good, and then you just on to the next one. You don't consciously say, I'm not going to tap on that and stuff like that. So I think I've reeled off like so many points. But again, it's literally just be yourself. If you're confused, just find somebody who else has done it, and have like the way I do it is like a core content framework and 3 subcategories. So what's the one thing you want to be known for? Is it entrepreneurship? Is it property? Is it parenting? Is it e-commerce? What is it that you want to be known for? So that's what your main thing's going to be. Like mine is mindset, personal development, confidence, right? That's my main thing there. Then my subcategories are like, if I'm thinking of ideas, then it would be entrepreneurship, property, and just lifestyle. So if anything falls into those 4 categories, like today is lifestyle, right? And then we're just like, okay, today's content is going to just fall into that. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just going to share what I'm doing and stuff. But then also, going back to the main thing, just be real, be yourself. You know, you cannot overcomplicate it, but then also don't compare your today to where somebody's got 2,000, 5,000, 100,000 followers. You have to start somewhere, but just never stop believing on why you're doing it as well.
Yeah. Leave the competition behind as well. Like there were some golden points there, Sunny. Like honestly, I hope everyone took those on board and really applies them. And what I would say is, practice does make perfect. Look, before we started this episode, I did like 4 or 5 takes of the intro. So like I never get it right, and it's, you know, and sometimes you muck up words, but that's the human part of it. So Sunny, it's been absolutely amazing. Where can people go to reach out and connect with you?
So I'm on Instagram at Sunny Mahal Official. I just started on TikTok on Friday. So I think that's pretty much at Sunny Mahal Official as well. So yeah.
Nice.
And, yeah, that's
we'll
what we
include all the links in the description below. So again, pleasure to have you, mate. And for
Thank you for
everyone
having
that has watched, thanks so much, and we'll see you all very soon.